I'm going to be doing a live show in the next couple days. I wanted to release this today, and if you've got any questions you want to pose, you can either put them in the comments and I can talk about them, or you want to get online with me, we'll do it that way. But today's talk is called Imprisoned, and it's all about the game of life. It's the thing that keeps sucking you back into believing that you are a physical body and that everything related to your life is all that exists in any form, which is completely false. The whole purpose of the game is to keep you involved in this illusion. Since you were born, you have been programmed on a constant basis to remain immersed and focused only within this game. We were never told or taught about anything outside of this game because we are meant to remain within its grasp and under its control all the time. What is the game? What does the game consist of? Well, the game consists of us being trapped within a physical body in a physical system, then molded to fit within all limitations that are programmed into and presented to us. Rules, regulations, limitations, directives, orders, and commands are created to funnel us into a very limited way of thinking and being. These rules and regulations are meant for the majority of the population as methods of control. These limitations were only created to apply to the sheep, not the shepherds. The sheep will, without question, follow their leaders right off the edge of a cliff without question every time. The rules are not compatible with those who created them. Rules are only created for those who are under the control of the illusional leadership. Even though, excuse me, even though this has not been hidden from us, we nevertheless accept this madness in our normal delusional state. One cannot rule if they are bound by the same regulations as the followers. In reality, we set our own limitations on ourselves, and just because someone creates a rule or regulation does not mean that we are bound to follow it. We have the ability to choose for ourselves, and we have always had that freedom. I'm not saying that there are no consequences for choices that you make, but I need to be but you need to be consciously aware of what limitations you're accepting, why you're accepting them, and if this is really acceptable to your growth. Realization of your current situation is imperative in order for you to have the ability to see through the murky waters that you face every day. Do you blindly accept instructions and information fed to you by authority figures just because they carry a position or a badge or a status? If so, then you will most likely trust them, even if they have deceived you in the past, more than you would trust a person who has always been by your side and never let you down. This is a type of brainwashing, sheep mentality, and deception we live in on a 24/7 basis here at the ground level. It is pathetic and is very difficult for people who have chosen to put forth the effort to better themselves to deal with loved ones who alienate them because they refuse to drink the Kool-Aid and willingly partake in this sick illusion. In no way, shape, or form is there any glory along this path. Just more shit to swallow in about every direction imaginable. This is your incentive to push ahead through all of the obstacles. So use this energy as your fuel to get you through the next day of abuse and crap that gets thrown your way. Eventually, all of our combined efforts will lead us away from this saddened tragedy of existence toward independence and freedom. Most of humanity are zombies who mentally exist within their own routine based programming that they have adopted from outside sources to create their limited based comfort zone. They fall victim to outside drama, they create drama. They choose to control others because they are no real control of their lives. They wear emotions on their sleeves and they blame others for the perceived problems in their life and that they are determined to take revenge out on anyone who crosses their path or triggers their emotional tripwires that are haphazardly placed everywhere. These sheep are powering the very system that holds them hostage, but it doesn't matter to them because they are so deeply intertwined in this systematic illusion of manipulation that they will most likely never change, even if they were fully aware of it. The main differences between the sheep and those who work diligently to get themselves out of the game are personal drive, independence, and self reliance. Most of the sheep who refuse to see the light are dependent, hopeful, and mostly faithful people. These people are convinced that someone else or something else is going to save them. In this illusional mind coma type state, their particular savior will come through for them because they cannot fathom anyone just allowing injustice to occur because it falls outside of their personal morals, perspectives, boundaries, or beliefs. Unfortunately, most people refuse to accept the fact that someone else, especially their savior, does not share the same sympathetic care for humanity and morals that they do. There are people and beings in existence that do not value human life and have zero sympathy or empathy for human suffering. Yes, these are the types of beings that we are dealing with. People expect and hope that others will act as they believe they should, and then place their faith in this false belief rather than confronting what they fear. Their alternative option is to run and hide from their impending problems, just as we would expect when a predator approaches its prey. People want to place their trust in someone else because that is how you have been programmed. Everyone seeks advice and guidance because they do not value themselves or their own experiences because that is how we have been taught. We have been trained to seek various levels of authority when we need assistance, such as police, fire, emergency broadcast system, FEMA, as well as other government services. So we neglect our own response mechanisms in lieu of what we are told or ordered to do. This creates a dependent population who will not think or act for themselves. Dependent people are very easy to control once they become accustomed to convenient services, then they can easily be manipulated through those services in many ways. People are willing to go to great lengths just to remain safely within their comfort zones, including trading their own freedoms for a false sense of security. It's all about being aware, being lucid, being conscious, being in control of yourself 100% of your life, because when you are not in control, they are. When you have handed over your control, you are an autonomous being under the direction of the game and its purely manipulative practices. You have surrendered yourself to your own demise. You are cattle. You are herded along the highway. When you are standing in line and when you're threatened with scarcity, you are not you are not living, you are surviving. You glide through most of your life like a machine performing the same functionality day in and day out. You probably don't even remember most of the day because you were not there. At any moment, anyone could immediately go from feast to famine due to many potential scenarios, but we strive ahead, hoping to keep our head above water as the water continues to rise. We live under a constant threat of everything just to keep us occupied, worried, working harder, striving for more, and chasing those elusive goals that end up being deflated wishes. It's a sick and twisted game for the benefit of a few at the expense of us all. So you decide where you want to stand in this. Welcome to the game. When you are in the game, you are working against your own betterment because the game and the controllers are our enemies. The energy you expel within the game by not being in control of yourself is feeding the machine. We produce the energy and they consume our energy. And the game is used to program us to feed them and the mechanism that surrounds us. We are living within a psychological operation constructed to manipulate us for their benefit in any way that they can.